Welcome to the Fantasy FootBaugh Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Baugh, and I've got some friends with me today. What better way to dive into fantasy football content than to get two of your closest pals and to start mock drafting together in June? So we might be a little bit early for that, but like I said, these guys, they really need no introduction. Jacob Pace, Logan Engel, they are fantasy experts, and I used to work with both of them. They're both laughing. I used to work with both of these guys, and I always said, if we spent half as much time talking about fantasy football as we did working, or vice versa, I guess, if we worked half as much as we talked fantasy football, we'd have been so much better at our jobs, right? And so I'll turn it over to you guys to introduce yourself, give a little shout out to who you are and why you're here, and we'll dive in. Logan, kick us off.
So Logan Engel. I have no clue what I'm doing at fantasy football. The 1 year that I played fantasy football with Eric, I made a trade for, I don't remember who that was. You gave me, no, I was going to give you Jamar Chase and some other running back, and you were going to give me something else, and everyone was like, that's a terrible trade. You're getting, whatever, swindled, and it ended up actually going to be a good trade towards the end of the season because Jamar Chase got hurt. So I just kind of go off of luck and who I know. Obviously, Andrew Luck doesn't play anymore, so I can't draft him as a quarterback. However, we're going to see how this goes. But excited to be here. Thanks for having me, buddy. I appreciate it.
Of course. Glad to have you aboard. And I actually remember, of course, anything fantasy football. I've got the mind of a steel trap here. The trade was I acquired Jamar Chase and, I forget who the other player was. And the players that I gave
Steel trap.
I shipped away Kyron Williams and, somebody else. I think it was also Puka Nacua. And it was the rookie year Puka Nacua. And both of those guys ended up being very good. Of course, in exchange for Jamar Chase, who got hurt. And it's interesting, too. We'll talk about this more as the season comes closer, but it's always the guys who you don't expect to be good at fantasy football and who aren't out here grinding mock drafts in June that somehow win the league, right? So Logan's got just as good of a chance to win the league as I do. My wife, in her first time ever playing fantasy football, took Kirk Cousins in my home league in the first round with like the 6th overall pick when he was on the Falcons and won the league despite having a pick that was essentially unplayable. So you never know what's going to happen. That's why we love the game so much. It's part skill, it's part luck. Bring us to our second expert on the call here, Jacob Pace. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited. We've been, like you said, we've been talking about this for a little while now, and I can't wait. I'm the guy that's been doing mock drafts since probably April. I'm already ready to rock and roll. I already know my quarterback strategy for this year. Like I can't wait. I can't wait. It can't come soon enough. We've had 2 out of the 3 rookie drafts so far in the dynasty leagues. So Eric, I got him in a league with my buddies from home, and so he's in one of our dynasty leagues, and I think he enjoys that. He got to meet a couple of my friends online through that. But I can't wait. I can't wait to get this started, talk some fantasy football.
Let's do it. And JP brings up an excellent point. Fantasy football is all about that, right? It's about staying connected with communities. JP, you're one of the only people I know who might be in more fantasy leagues than I am, which is saying something because I'm in 10.
Can I brag on myself, please, a little bit? Last year,
yes,
so
please
last
do.
year, I think I've selectively put in maybe like $600-$700, and I think I tripled my money in all my winnings. I won all my big leagues. I'm pretty happy with that. I don't know if that's high stakes for a lot of people out there, but for me, that was a lot of money, and it was a good feeling. I won. You have the leagues that's like you have your family leagues. Okay, those are easy because those are, like you said, your wife might win. Like my family league, the first 3 winners was my mom, my sister, and my now wife. So you just never know what happens. But I won the one league that everybody cares about. I won it this year, and then I won another league that I've been in since for 15 years. I never won. I won it this year.
Oh my gosh!
Both of them had Christian McCaffrey, so he's my favorite player of all time, and they both had George Pickens, who also might be my favorite player. But Yeah. All right. I had to get that in there. Thank you.
So we know exactly who to snipe right in front of Jacob before it's his turn.
Please don't.
Christian McCaffrey off the board at 103. Bragging on myself here, too. I think I had a pretty similar track record thanks to a lot of shares of JSN and Chris Olave. Even Travis Etienne helped me out. Of my 10 leagues, I made the championship in 6 and won 3 of them. My monetary totals were buoyed by best ball. Got into that on DraftKings and profited like $3,000. I had one get into the finals and hit the $5,000 mark, which was kind of crazy. Did not expect that.
That's insane.
$20 entry, right? So made it all the way through the gauntlet in the final round where the millionaires are made, but came up short.
Do you know what's crazy about this entire thing? I'm so sorry to cut you off,
You don't know
Eric.
what we're talking about.
He has no idea what we're saying.
I have
He has
no idea. Someone's saying best ball. I'm like, are we playing
exactly
golf
what he's
now?
Yeah.
Are we like, what are we doing? I literally just joined a fantasy football league of all my old fraternity brothers, and our bets are who dresses as Santa for their kids when they lose against each other, right? Like, I don't bet money. I don't have any stake in this. I've joined, I think the most leagues I've been in my entire life is 3. And the fact that you guys are talking about 10, 11, 14 leagues, tracking all your money.
Yeah.
I have 3 kids at home. I would absolutely lose my mind if I was in 10 leagues with, $400 or $500 tied up into it, because I don't know what I would do. I have no clue who was where. At some point, I would just literally throw my phone up and be like, all right, well, if you're going to score a touchdown, cool. I'm not doing picks. I'm going to put all of them on auto draft and hope for the best. I know that is probably a curse word.
Fired up for the fantasy advice.
It sure is. But I'll tell you what, this is a perfect mix of, I think you need 2 things to win in fantasy football. You need vibes and you need knowledge. Right, and so I think we've got 100% of that, the vibes part's coming from Logan. We've got 100% of it coming from Jacob Pace. So we're at 200% right now. We're fired up. We've been talking about making this podcast for a long time. It's been really 3 or 4 years in the making, and so we finally pulled the trigger. We've done it. You can expect to see both of these guys here on as recurring guests, as much as they will let me steal them from their wives and their families and whatnot. To talk about fantasy football, I know my own wife during fantasy season is like, Eric, if you spend 1 more minute on the waiver wire, I'm going to kill you, right? And I think, and again, she'll still win our family league where I've, been mock drafting since April, like I said.
Wow.
So now that we know who everybody is, let's go ahead and dive in. I'm going to share my screen, if I can. I know how to do that.
See, look, you guys know about fantasy football, but then when you turn into sharing screens and talking about all that stuff, that's when we start, seeing it. But look, he did it way better than I can't say the name on here, but it's way better than another person I know that tries to share their screen with stuff.
Logan, I know exactly who you're talking about. We work together, and this is always a 10-minute ordeal when one of our bosses tries to do this. Are you guys ready to find out where you're drafting from? Right now, we're 1, 2, and 3. We're going to hit random, and then we're going to hit start. So no time to strategize from there. This is obviously first look for Logan at the board. So we'll be interested.
Wait, I do have
to see.
I have a question.
I don't even know if
there we go.
randomized.
Okay, all right, there
I'm
we are.
picking first. I don't want to pick first.
You can randomize it again. It's your podcast.
How many people? How many people are? Is it 12?
Okay, this is all right. So here's the format. We got 12 teams, 12 rounds. So no defense, no kickers. Standard rosters: 1 QB, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, tight end, flex, and then 6 bench. Good to go. Half PPR. As are most of my leagues. So Christian McCaffrey gets a little bit worse than full PPR, and Derrick Henry gets a little bit better.
Not to be confused with PBR, which is a very good beer to drink while you're playing fantasy football.
I'm going to start this darn draft, I think, if I did it. Did I do it?
I think so.
Action cannot be undone. Here I'm on the clock. I've got 3 minutes per pick, and I might need it for pick 1 because I am curious. My first question of the draft, and this actually worked out pretty nicely. I personally have gone back and forth on these 2 players all offseason. It's Bijan or it's Jahmyr Gibbs. And for me, it's tough. It's a toss-up. I think I change my mind every single time I look at these 2 because you get a whole lot when you draft either of these guys. Jacob Pace, who's your pick here?
Number 101, to me, I think it's kind of easy. And I know that's I'm gonna be crazy. I think it's easy because I'm looking at two running backs where who's behind them. All right, that's the whole conversation. Both of them lost their backups with Bijan and Gibbs. I don't go in the Jamar Chase yet. At this point, like I think 1 and 2 it's either to me it's Gibbs 1 and Bijan 2, like straight up first second pick. I think David Montgomery did a lot for the Lions, and just him being gone, and then it's Pacheco. That's who we're worried about. That's who's behind Gibbs.
The shell of Isaiah Pacheco, right?
And then who? And remind me, because it's someone that's not as bad in behind in Atlanta. Who took over for Algier?
Other B. Robinson, and so don't be confused.
Right. Brian Robinson, exactly.
In the second round, we're going to tell Logan, "Hey, B. Robinson is still on the board," and then you could pick Brian Robinson, which would not go so well for you.
I just think that they are going to absolutely unleash Gibbs. I think the Lions also have a bounce back year, and so if we're looking at tiebreakers, I want the better offense. To me, it's just pretty easy. I'm going Gibbs 1-on-1 every time.
I fall in that same camp. And Logan, go ahead. Any input on that?
I was just say I don't have any input on the backups or anything like that, but one thing I will say when I look at fantasy football, I always look at who's in a contract year. I know it doesn't matter for us in fantasy football probably that much, but I always feel like the players that are in a contract year always play way better than if they just re-sign their deal or maybe their second, third year into their rookie deal, whatever it is. I feel like those players typically always play lights out when they're needing to get paid. So I have no clue if any of them are on a contract year, but if they are, I would take that one.
That is perfect advice in the situation where I don't believe it's relevant, but I fall into the camp that I will also be taking Jahmyr Gibbs with my first overall pick. And here's why. I think in fantasy football, this advice is actually coming down the road when I do a tips and tricks episode to help you win your leagues. That's coming out probably this Thursday. You never want to be the guy that finishes second. You want to be the guy that wins. And if that means you're either going to win or you're going to come in last, you always go for the upside. I think the first round is no different than that. Jahmyr Gibbs, he's on the Detroit Lions. They're going to score a lot of points. That offense has some firepower to it. I don't know how much I trust the Falcons this year. Tua, I know, Jacob, you're a big Dolphins fan, and I know you've been behind Tua for a long time. But if I had to trust an offense to get me points, it's going to be the Lions. Bijan is a safe pick. He's going to get you 20 points a game, but is he going to have the explosive upside of, can he catch 10 passes a game for 100 yards and also rush for 150 and score 3 touchdowns? He could. I think it's more likely that Jahmyr Gibbs does that a couple times, though. And so if I'm in that situation, and you can check my rankings, I've got Gibbs over Bijan here for a lot of the same reasons that you mentioned. I don't trust either of their backups. I think they're very similar in that they both were in somewhat of a timeshare, and now they're going to be the guy. And I want the guy in Detroit more than I want the guy on the Falcons. So that's the crux of the argument for me. Bijan went second overall, as he should. I think the first 2 picks are pretty locked in on my board. He could take a wide receiver, but I don't see it. Talk us through who you got here at 3, Jacob Pace.
All right, already decisions have to be made. So I think I can cut out a few people. Okay, here's who I'm between at this point. And when it's the third pick, the first round, you have to get someone that you can't whiff on this pick. And why I'm bringing this up, because I think it's almost a tiebreaker for me. So I'm between Jamar, between Puka, and my guy who I just love him to death, Christian McCaffrey. To me, Christian McCaffrey, it worked so well last year. He had so many touches. I just don't think it's going to work 2 times in a row. I don't think there's ever been a Christian McCaffrey year where he's just gone back-to-back years of greatness. He usually follows it up with an injury. So maybe that's just completely just coincidence, but I'm staying away there. And then 2, Puka, with all of his off-the-field stuff, I don't want a weird situation popping up. I think he's incredible. He's amazing. He's so fun to watch. He's open every play. He's going to get a million catches. But with all that being said, I want to make sure I get this pick right. So I'm going to go Jamar here.
I love it. I have had that same argument in my head probably a million times this offseason already. which I fall in the field of Jamar Chase. He's my boy. I've got Joe Burrow. I've got Jamar Chase on my jersey right now. And so at 3, it's a tough decision between him and Puka. I just feel like with Joe Burrow on the field, I mean, Jamar Chase is on another level, right? It's hard to slow him down. It's hard to stop him. Obviously, you've got T. Higgins there taking some targets away, but Puka's got Devontae Adams, and I'd rather have Devontae Adams than T. Higgins. I also think, Matthew Stafford's getting older. I think they're going to run a lot of games out of reach pretty early for the Rams, where they're going to be up by a couple touchdowns, and who knows how much they're going to need to throw the ball. Whereas Cincinnati is going to be looking to the air fairly often, and when you need a big play, you go to Jamar Chase. So I also have him 3rd overall. Jonathan Taylor off the board at 4th. A little bit different. Of course, it depends on where you're mock drafting. We're on Sleeper today. And that means Taylor is ranked 4th, which I don't necessarily agree with. I've got Puka there. Yeah, that's a little bit wild, especially before Christian McCaffrey. But that's what the CPU gives you, and your leagues might look like this.
I would go JSN before I
go.
I would go JSN. Who else? I wouldn't go James Cook.
Nor would I.
Look at the rest of this round. I mean, Amon-Ra's not terrible. I could hear an argument Amon-Ra before JT, if you're asking me.
I know. Yeah, I think I've got Jonathan Taylor 7th and Amon-Ra at 8th, but I wouldn't be mad if you took Amon-Ra over Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
Kind of the same story with Christian McCaffrey. I mean, he's injury prone. He's on the Colts. Like, who knows if he can replicate the magic he had. And there's no guarantee that Daniel Jones is going to be back to
we're talking about JT still.
Last year.
Dang.
And Logan, good time for you to chime in. You were at the turn, my friend. You were at the 112. You got back-to-back picks here. So walk us through who you're looking at.
So I have a situation here, Eric. First of all, you guys put me dead last, and you guys are over here talking about JT is number 4. I've got him ranked number 7, and then you've got Christian McCaffrey. He's injury prone. By the time I get to even do my pick, I have literally almost less than a minute, and I have no clue what I'm doing here. So therefore, I have to literally sit here. So if I'm not talking, I'm just sitting here looking down. It's because I'm looking at my phone, trying to figure out who it is. So here's what I did decide. I feel like there's still a lot of good players on the board. I thought about Justin Jefferson. I thought about Justin Jefferson, but there's no quarterback in Minnesota, so I'm not sure if he's going to get the catches or touches that he wants. So I think for me, just because I'm trying to figure out which way to go, I think I'm actually going to take Saquon. Just because I feel like him being number 12, he did really well last year. There was a lot of just good runs that he did. I mean, he's hurdling people backwards. He's got a lot of good stuff going for him. So I'm taking Saquon just because that Eagles offense is a little dangerous too. Also, I have another pick that I have to figure this out too. See, this is what you all do to me. I come on here and I only know a little bit about fantasy football, and I have to make 2 picks in a row and talk my way through it. You know how hard that is? And I talk for a living. So, because of that, I know running backs are versatile. I know that you need those because some of them can play both the runner and the catcher. That's why I probably would have taken Jahmyr Gibbs. I think he does both of those really well for a number 1 pick. So as I'm kind of looking through this, and I'm trying to figure out which one, I have no clue who Agenti is, but he's at number 12, so I'm going to take him. I think he plays for Vegas, obviously. So that's who I'm going with. I know that everyone in the comments or whatever is probably going to yell and just laugh at me, and that's okay, but that's part of having fun at fantasy football. So, yeah.
It sure is. And we're going to look at the teams at the end, and we're going to think Logan's team is dangerous. And part of driving and following is rage bait. So I think we've got Logan on here to rage bait some people. So just to recap where we're at, by the way, I think Saquon and Ashton Dempsey sets you up very well for success here. A lot of people are kind of envisioning that both of those guys will have some better years than they did last year. That Eagles offense is a bit more of a question mark, but I believe in it personally. I think new coordinator, they'll be off to the races. They've got the pieces there. They just need to figure out the play calls. So in the first round, I kind of stopped my recap here. We went Jonathan Taylor. We went Puka at 5, Christian McCaffrey at 6. James Cook at 7, JSN at 8, which is a fantastic value. CeeDee Lamb at the 109. Ken Walker slipping into the first round at the 10th overall pick, which might be a little bit questionable. Not sure if I agree with that one. We've got ASRB or ARSB. Sun God coming at 11th. We've got Saquon rounding out the first 11. Ashton Genty, Devon Achane, who's an interesting topic this year on the horrid Miami Dolphins offense. Trey McBride at 203. Crazy. Malik Neighbors also at 204. Crazy. Marion Hampton, Jeremiah Love, Drake London, Justin Jefferson fell to the 208, which is wild.
I might get him. I thought he might keep falling. I might get him. I was gonna.
Yeah, he doesn't have a quarterback in Minnesota. I do know that much. He doesn't have a quarterback.
He has a quarterback.
He's just
I don't
10.
Exactly. I don't know, and I think I love JJ. I think he's amazing. They don't have enough to make Kyler and him dangerous together, in my opinion. So,
time will tell. I think that the talent trumps in this opportunity. I have him like 8th or 9th. I think the decision for me there is Justin Jefferson or CeeDee Lamb as kind of that next tier of wide receivers after Jamar and Puka and JSN. And curious to see where that shakes out. But I think I like Justin Jefferson better than CeeDee there. And that leaves 40 seconds on the clock for JP. Who you got here at the 103 to pair with Jamar Chase?
The rankings would tell you to go Nico Collins here, okay? Everybody goes Nico. Nico's so great. Nico's just amazing. Oh, my gosh. Nico Collins. Look, I had Nico Collins last year. He's a good wide receiver.
He's a dud.
I don't know if he's elite. I don't think he's elite. You know who is a dog?
Who's a dog?
You know who goes out there and absolutely just balls on fools and makes people look silly out there? That's my boy, George Pickens.
I do. George Pickens. George Pickens. Off the board,
and he's in Dallas this year. He'll be good. He'll be good with that.
Fantastic. He is
fantastic. He was what, like wide receiver 5 or 6 last year?
Yeah,
first year. I mean,
he is unreal. He goes, and you never know. He makes a great catch, and then he might stand up and punch a guy, and that's what I want. I want that of my receiver. Nico Collins isn't going to punch a guy. Nico Collins is going to say thank you for the first down and hand the ball back to the referee. That's not what I want on my team.
In the second round especially, you want somebody who could legitimately be a top 5 wide receiver. I think George Pickens has that, and he does have that dog in him. That's why I've been so high on the DK Metcalf train for so long. I mean, he's been a staple on my rosters for forever. You never know what he's going to do. Is he going to take the play off and get into a fight with the DB? Is he going to go in the fans, grandstand and punch somebody and get suspended when you need him in the best ball millionaire maker? Not that happened to me or anything.
Here's a rage bait question, Eric. Is DK Metcalf the new Antonio Brown?
I would have to invoke maybe another wide receiver that is nearing the end of his career first. And I'm going to say that's Tyreek Hill. I hate to
really?
Yeah.
I don't think he's that crazy off the handles yet, though.
No, he is. He's crazy. He's insane.
He's crazy. He's crazy.
As a guy that has watched him for the last 4 years
As
or whatever.
Dolphins fan.
He's insane. Yeah.
Oh, that's fair.
I love Pickens' pick, by the way. It takes me back to when he got drafted, the pose that he hit.
Oh, just mean mugging.
I don't have an editor, but if I did, I'd say, editor, put that clip right here, right now. That is the face I'm going to make when I make this selection here. I don't want Josh Jacobs because who knows what's going to happen with Josh Jacobs. He's done some stuff off the field that the FootBaugh franchise cannot be proud of. And who knows where that's going to land him. Chris Olave doesn't really excite me in the second round. He was big for me last year and obviously coming off a fantastic question. I don't want Bucky Irving.
Wait. Are you skipping? I mean, it's not this guy's fault that he's on like blood thinners. Can you give the guy a break? I mean, Chris, I feel like it's not his fault.
It's not his fault.
It's not. He didn't choose to have a heart condition midway through the season last year. He was fantastic. And funny enough, the guy that I will be selecting here in the second round, because he deserves to be a second round pick, I think I've got him ranked like 16th in my big board, which, by the way, head over to the website, check out my rankings, and shit talk me on there if you want to. Because I've got A.J. Brown ranked like 16th. I'm going to make this pick, and I'm going to talk about it in my next 3 minutes here. I mean, talk about a match made in heaven, right? This is like fries and ketchup, where you take A.J. Brown, who is legitimately a top 5 wide receiver talent in the league, and you put him on Drake May's team in a wide receiver room where the next best guy is Romeo Doubs, right? And Demario Douglas is there. Like, they've got a bunch of guys who are not that good at catching the football. Drake May, out of all quarterbacks, is by far the best at throwing the deep ball. And so you give him A.J. Brown, who loves to get behind defenders, who loves to be the focal point of an offense. He would tell you himself he's the best wide receiver in the league. I don't think he's the best, but I think he's top 5, at least in terms of talent. I think his production will get there this year as well. I mean, it's just a perfect scenario for him. He's ranked 30th here on Sleeper, and that's why it's so important to know your platform. You were going to find some guys like that where you're like, man, I've got this guy ranked 16th and he's ranked 30th. And as I'm scrolling this list too, I mean, there are a lot of guys that I'd put in that category of where it's like, there's no way that some of these guys should be like in the 50s.
Eric, did you just say that Drake May is the best at throwing the deep ball?
100%.
No, he's not. He's not even.
Sure is.
You've got Josh Allen. You've got Patrick Mahomes.
Gosh.
Joe Burrow is great at throwing the deep ball, even though he's the Andrew Luck 2.0 of the world. You've got Matthew Stafford. You've got Kirk Cousins when he does play. Dak Prescott. There's so many people above him that are way better at throwing, and they're more accurate. If you watch Drake May's Super Bowl performance, he had maybe 2-3 deep balls that connected. The rest of them were either way over the head or they were underthrown, they were intercepted, something. I'm sorry, if you're trying to rage bait people, I don't know that much about football, but I know for a fact Drake May is not the best at throwing the long ball. There is no way on God's green earth. No way.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna have the editor, which is me. I'm gonna pull up the advanced metrics on this. The good news is the Super Bowl is not part of the fantasy football season, which I agree with you. Not a great look for Drake May. It was his first time there against the best defense I've seen, in 5 years. But Drake May is extremely accurate when it comes to throwing the ball downfield. And I don't have the stats off the top of my head, but just exceptional at it and had a fantastic run last year in arguably an MVP caliber season, right? To where there weren't too many guys that were better than him. I know typically, like, I would tell you that Matt Stafford's better than Drake May. I'm a little bit lower on Drake May than the consensus. I'm not drafting him at his ADP right now, which is like 65. But I think even if he replicates half of what he did last year, A.J. Brown is going to go off. With my next pick, I'm picking Derrick Henry. He's ranked 29th on here.
I hate you. I cannot stand you. That was who I was going to pick, and then it was over. You guys were done. Gosh dang it.
So, Jacob Pace, before you talk through your pick, back me up on the Drake May thing. Am I crazy for thinking that A.J. Brown is deserving of a spot in the second round?
I'm still mad. I know what I'm doing now. I now have my game plan. I had 2 options, and I'm going with option 2, and I'm happy about it still. Okay.
Yeah.
So, here's where I'm at.
Okay.
I don't know. Okay, and this is maybe lack of ball knowledge on Drake May. 2 things. One, I think AJ Brown's gonna go crazy this year. I think they'll be a very good. I think maybe 1, maybe 2 years, but I think this year will be really good. I think people are low on AJ Brown because just it sputtered out as time went on in Philly. So I think AJ Brown will be very good with Drake May. I don't know. Like, I don't remember Drake May being like a super great downfield thrower. I'm not saying he's not. I just don't remember that standing out. What I am still trying to wrap my head around is all the people that Logan named as deep ball throwers, and I don't think any one of them are. I think I don't know the last time Patrick Mahomes threw a deep ball.
Patrick Mahomes is like dink and dunk these days.
Yeah, I mean Patrick Mahomes used to do that, but I don't think he does it anymore.
Yeah, I think it's characterized too. Like he had Tyreek Hill, and I think that was more of a function of I have Tyreek Hill, and he can just same with like Jamar and Joe Burrow.
Exactly.
You'll see in the box score, like, okay, Jamar Chase caught an 85-yard touchdown. It's like a 7-yard slant, right? And then he just houses it. Exactly. So, anyways, go on. And I've got a graph here on my phone. I'm gonna put it.
I stand corrected. I googled it. It's the best resource. He's 72% completion rating on the deep ball. I still think that's a lie. I think it's
season throwing downfield, gapping the field, and other all-time seasons like peak Brady, Rodgers, Breeze. 70% accuracy.
That is.
Yeah, Logan did say there was more accurate than other players. Okay, but now I think it's just a fun topic. Some that come to mind, Dak. I do think Dak is very good. I mean, he just retired and just went into the booth. But my favorite deep ball thrower for a very long time was Russell Wilson. I think Russell Wilson was awesome with the deep ball. And there was one more. It was Dak, him, and there's one more that I'm blanking on right now. But yeah, I'm excited. I think it's going to be really good for AJ Brown this year.
Agreed. Aaron Rodgers, maybe king of the Hail
There we
Mary.
go. Yeah, there we go. That's exactly
Aaron
what it
Rodgers.
was.
Yeah,
King
Hail
Aaron.
Mary, you go to him.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
That is
15 seconds on the clock. Who are you taking?
Oh
and
my
why?
gosh. Yeah, I'm going. I forgot I had a draft. This is easy. We're pivoting. I'm going to get an elite player at the position to be done for the rest of the draft. I'm going Brock Bowers.
Brock Bowers
Wow.
off the board. Great
good.
value here in the third round. I would have him. I considered him. It was him or Derrick Henry.
yes, man. I got
it was
the player
between
that I
Henry
wanted.
and Brock Bowers. I thought you were going to go Brock Bowers, and I was just going to have Henry fall to me.
Yeah. No, I thought about it.
You know, I love my team. My three are strong. I'm going to have to do some work in the running back room later, which is a little scary.
Yes.
So that's the price you pay for going tight end there. But Bucky, I'm a little scared of Bucky this year.
Me
Bucky
too.
I feel like has fallen off pretty drastically. Kyron, I think, is always undervalued. Kyron would have been a fine pick there, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Brees, he's a Jet. He has a stink on him. They want to talk about a 3-back committee. They won't do that. He's the man. And then, we got Williams, who it's just so funny. I think I picked him in like the 9th, 10th round last year in some leagues, and maybe later than that. And Javonte was a dog. So, that could be a good pick too. But Brock Bowers or Javonte Williams, to me, that's easy.
Yeah.
I think there's a massive difference there. So I'm happy with Brock.
I took, it's interesting you say that too. I think he'll be fishing for running backs. That's why you mock draft here in June is you'll find that come the 6th round, there might not be any running backs left that you like. And so then in your next draft, which is the real draft, you've got to scoop 2 or 3 in the first couple rounds to set your team up for success. That's why we're here. You can make mistakes in a mock that you're not going to make later on. Down the line, I was between Derrick Henry, Brock Bowers. Kyron came to mind as well. I've got Bucky Irving ranked in like the 50s. I just don't trust him. They brought in too much exterior help at his position that I think will take a lot of the snaps away. I don't know if he's full health. I'm staying away at his current cost, especially on Sleeper in the 25s. All right, Logan, you're on the clock. You've got back-to-back picks again. We've given you some time to think about it.
I know the exact 2 players that I'm taking, so I don't need the time.
Here we go.
However, I will say this. I'm actually really surprised T. Higgins is in the 3rd round. I think that T. Higgins is really injury prone, and him being on the same team as Jamar Chase, Jamar is going to command way more targets because of who Jamar Chase is, but him and Joe Burrow also have a great relationship. So I think T. Higgins is a great pick. I wouldn't pick him in the 3rd round if it's me personally, and that's probably not saying a whole lot because I don't really know what's going on sometimes in the fantasy football world. But I think having T. Higgins in the 3rd round is almost, I think someone went too early for him. I would almost say he's maybe like a 5th rounder if he's there, but I probably wouldn't take him before 5 if he was available. That's just my opinion. However, this pick, I'm taking Tyler Warren. Great. I thought he had a great rookie season. I think he's got just a very bright future ahead of him. And Daniel Jones is back, and hopefully he's healthy. He was the leading tight end for the Colts last year, and arguably the best rookie tight end in the league. And I think he had an argument to win Rookie of the Year as well. So that's who I'm picking with that pick. And then we talked about this guy a little bit earlier, and it's probably a little early to grab him, but Aaron Rodgers is back in Pittsburgh, and he's going to do some great things, and I think having a very big target to throw to gives him DK Metcalf, and I'm very excited to take him, and I think those 2 players are going to be stellar studs on my fantasy football team, also known as Chalupa Batman from the league, so I've stolen that as my team name.
Perfect. Well, those one thing I love about fantasy football is you are allowed to zig when other people zag, and if Sleeper is telling you that DK Metcalf should go in the 7th round, there's nothing telling you that you can't draft him in the 3rd or 4th. Same thing with Tyler Warren. If you are convinced that he's going to be the guy, which I'm not in on Tyler Warren, right? I think all the other receivers are hurt. Alec Pierce has concerns about his health. He was the guy before Daniel Jones went down last year. I don't hate it. And so Tyler Warren is our third tight end off the board, going in the third round, which might be a little bit too steep for me. Where we're at in the draft, so we are entering the fourth round. After the Brock Bowers pick, we had Josh Allen come off the board, first quarterback, Chris Olave, Bucky Irving, Rashee Rice. In the third round, he's got some legal trouble, but if you had to pick, between Bucky Irving and Rashee Rice, I would take Rashee Rice all day. Same with Kyren Williams off the board at 308. We've got Breece Hall, we've got Devontae Williams, T. Higgins. Too early for my liking. I've never been a T. Higgins owner, just for the same reasons that Logan listed already. Tyler Warren at the turn alongside DK Metcalf. So Logan's team after 4 rounds, Saquon, Ashton Genty, Tyler Warren, DK Metcalf. Afterwards, we've got Teteroa McMillan, Garrett Wilson, Luther Burden at the 4-4, which is maybe a bit of an overbuy, but if you think he's going to be the guy in Chicago, nothing against that. We've got Travis Etienne, who is changing his name to Achan or something like that. He goes at 405. Good pick there. Lamar Jackson, Drake May off the board at the 4-7. Lad McConkey, Jamison Williams in the 4th round. And we are to Finn's 88 at the 410 with a minute on the clock. Who we got?
So I'm going to play strategy. I love the little game you can play coming around the turn. I think it's just so fun. Like, who's going to be there playing an ADP game? So, personally, you got Travion. I thought about Travion. Travion sounded fun because I think there's just going to be a good upside, but Ramondre is still lingering. Like, he's not going anywhere. So, I don't think with me not having a running back yet, I can go with maybe a backup. I mean, we know he's probably going to be a guy eventually, maybe by the end of the year, but I feel like Ramondre might get snap number 1 this year again. So, with that in mind, I need to go with a guy that I think's going to get a bunch of touches. I'm looking in the RB room. RJ Harvey terrifies me. A lot of touchdowns. Who doesn't terrify me and who is one of the most electrifying guys that also he might not punch somebody, but he's going to run through a brick wall and he's going to get a lot of touches is Cam Scatterboo. So I'm going Cam Scatterboo here. I literally cannot wait. I am loving this team, and I have a plan for what happens on the turn. Let's see if it works out. If it does, you guys might as well. I mean, I already won, and in round 5, it's already over.
Pack it up, he says.
Yeah.
And unnamed team 2 sniped my pick right before. There is no way that Devontae Smith should make it to the 411.
I do agree with that.
That is an egregiously bad ranking, and it's early in the offseason, right? So that's going to change. But, he's 3rd round at worst, right? And I would take him like in the 25 to 30 range, early round 3. I mean, he's the guy now in Philadelphia. And a lot has been said about the Eagles offense. I don't think they're going to be that bad. I believe in them. No more A.J. Brown. No more reading a book on the sideline. People forget how good Devontae Smith was at Alabama and how much of the guy he was. I know he's small. I know he's undersized, but would have been my pick. I think Scatterboo is also a fantastic pick. As soon as you said he was going to run through a wall, I knew who you were going to pick. So Devontae Smith got sniped right before me. If I'm looking at my team and I'm looking at the board, I need a wide receiver right here. And there is a guy that I've got ranked pretty highly. I'm just going to scroll to make sure nobody else is on the board that I really want to pick above him. But over Jalen Waddle, and over Devontae Adams. Travion, also running back committee. It scares me. I think Ramondre is good. Colston Loveland is a little bit too expensive for me to start thinking tight end right now.
Can I say something? I know you got some time on the clock here.
Yes.
I don't.
Of course.
I'm gonna put. Here we go. Everybody has a hot take. It's always good to have hot takes on a podcast.
It is.
I'm not in on Colston Loveland.
Nor am I.
Oh my gosh! What is the hype about? Everybody is acting like this guy is literally. So I guess I had him. I had him on a team. In the
wasn't good.
He wasn't good. I had him on the roster
until like the last 2 games. I witnessed firsthand.
He had one game, and wasn't it like against the Bengals or something? I don't know what game it was.
Yeah, it was the game that the Bears scored like 60 points against the Bengals, right?
Yes,
and it was just, and I don't see it. Like, and that's another thing that I'll say, and I hate to like take your train and run with it. I've got 30 seconds. I know who my pick is going to be already.
Okay.
There's so much discussion around, okay, who's going to be the guy in Chicago and who's going to get like Caleb Williams' number 1 target. It doesn't matter. I'm not interested in that. I'm not taking Luther Burden or Colston Loveland in the 40s or 50s. I've got Loveland like in the 60s, right behind Tyler Warren. There's no way that you could get me to draft that dude. He was straight up bad for me. Who I will take is Emeka Ibuka at 412. I think that's great value. I'd much rather have him than a lot of these guys here. I'm glad that I'm not the only one with that hot take. The Colson Loveland hype is just off the rails at this point.
It's outrageous. It's outrageous.
I don't buy it. I've seen him go, like I've done probably 15 best ball drafts already. People pick him at 20. Right next to like Trey McBride and Brock Bowers. I think there's a world where he's fantastic and is tight end 3 to 5, but I don't think he's got a better shot at that than Tyler Warren or Kyle Pitts or Harold Fannin, right? Like I want those guys who you could get at 90 more than I want a guy that I have to draft at 35 who's like the third target on his team in a Bears offense that supports a lot of guys. I don't know. I don't see it.
There's a lot of options. I don't think he's gonna be bad. He's not bad. Yeah. He's good. I think he's good. It's just the hype is like is just outrageous. It's just too expensive.
It is. I want to make a note. It is soon to be the Indiana Bears. Just saying, they're coming to Hammond, Indiana, baby. Let's go.
They sure are. It's our home state, by the way.
Absolutely.
Man. I think
who would ever thought that Indiana would have 2 NFL teams? Never. I would have never thought. And it all started because Peyton Manning just came and just destroyed people. The sheriff came to town and just took names, including the Chicago Bears, and beat them enough that they're like, you know what? We want to go to Indiana too. We want to be part of the Indiana football town. And so here they come.
If that's how any of that went down, but I love your version of it.
I'm sure just Jim Irsay from heaven is just like, we're gonna buy the Chicago Bears, and they're gonna be at the top quartile of the 4th quartile of the echelon quartile. You know?
I love it. I'm sure that's exactly how that deal happened in Chicago, by the way, to actually make that move possible.
100%.
I gotta say, I'm in a bit of a pickle here. I'm looking at a couple names here. I'm not real interested in Travion Henderson. I've already got 2 bell cow running backs that I think will hold those positions down. I really want a third wide receiver here. It would have been awesome to take Devontae and Ibuka here at the turn. Obviously, that's not possible. So I'm looking at Jalen Waddle. I'm looking at Devontae Adams. I don't love either of their scenarios. You never know how Jalen Waddle's going to do in Denver. The reports out of camp are fantastic, but I don't trust it. I like another wide receiver on a new team.
I know. I knew it. I knew exactly what you were going to do. I know.
And I've got to dive way deep into the rankings here. To go with old reliable, Mr. 1K.
Wow. Yeah.
Mr. Mike Evans. Michael will be catching 1-yard slants all year for the FootBaugh franchise. And I think he's going to be fantastic. I mean, you talk about a team that doesn't have an alpha wide receiver. You lose Debo, you lose Ayuk, or presumably you lose Ayuk. He's never going to play snap for the 49ers again. That's a lot of targets vacated. George Kittle is coming off a significant injury. Who knows whether he'll be ready to go. And I think when they need a touchdown, they're just going to lob it up to Big Mike, right? And so I think it's a perfect landing spot for him. I believe in his health. I know he's getting old, but I don't think we're quite at the age cliff yet. I think he looked pretty good last year, obviously, before injuries hit. I like him to have a good bounce back season this year in San Francisco, a good change of scenery. I think he's got 1 or 2 more left in the tank. I'm noticing a trend too. My team is concerningly old. Something to consider as I get. I've got AJ Brown. He's got like 1 year of mileage left on his knees. Derrick Henry might be 45 years old. Who knows when the wheels are going to fall off? I didn't really get to talk too much about that pick, but if you get Derrick Henry in the 3rd round and you're looking around and you're seeing names that are like, Josh Jacobs, Brock Bowers, a tight end, Josh Allen, you've got Chris Olave, Bucky Irving. You ask me if I want Bucky Irving or Derrick Henry, I'm going to take Derrick Henry, right? It's proven it's ultra reliable. So sitting 5 rounds in, I am at Jahmyr Gibbs, Antonio Brown. You got that on my mind, Logan. AJ Brown, Derrick Henry, Emeka Ibuka, Mike Evans. So I've got my positional players filled out already. Jalen Waddle off the board next. I probably would have taken him if not for that. Zay Flowers was another name that I was looking at. Jacob Pace, will you be selecting Travion Henderson as your RB2, or do you have another name in mind?
I will not be selecting him. The guy that I am going to get here did make it back around. So it's always fun when you gamble. It works out. I didn't think he was going to go. I was worried about this team too doing something a little crazy because they just went running or wide receiver. I think they might go in the running back after that. So that was my only fear. Who I'm going to pick here. There's only one other consideration I would ever do, but I can't do it. One other option is to not go the running back room and go Joe Burrow. Get the
Joe
stack
Burrow, the
with
stack.
Jamar Chase.
Eric's so mad.
I think that would be massive, but I can't. I don't think I can do it. I think there are so many good quarterbacks that I'm excited about later and in this draft. I already went with the onesie position in Brock Bowers. I can't invest in two onesie positions when I think Joe Burrow is great. It'd be awesome to have the stack. I think there's so many quarterbacks that I'm very happy about this year later. So I don't want to give up another starting running back. One that I think isn't getting talked about enough. I think he had it's kind of a poor end of the year just because of injury. They're building the team the right way. This guy's going to get a ton of touches. And I'm going Judkins. Judkins here to have my second running back. I think I weathered going two strong wide receivers and a strong tight end. I'm very happy with how this is shaping up.
I gotta say too, if I'm looking at your team and I'm looking at Jamar Chase, George Pickens, and Brock Bowers, and then on the comeback, Scadaboo and Judkins. I mean, Judkins is a guy that I've got ranked like 50th overall, so a good value there by my metrics, and was fantastic last year. I think the Browns are going to be better. I don't think they're going to be elite, obviously. I think they might win 5 games, but Judkins is the guy, and it sounds like he's healthy. So I like that pick. I think you've got now a really scary team, especially going onesie early. I do agree. I think Joe Burrow would have been maybe a little bit early. I find myself punting the QB position because when you get to the 12th round, you can still get a Patrick Mahomes or a Jared Goff or a Kyler Murray. We just got to be careful on the comeback, Logan, that we can't give Jacob Pace and the Finns 88 team the Dak stack with George Pickens.
Dak attack, baby.
The Dak attack stack.
It worked so well
that
for
would
me
be
last
scary.
year. I did it in a bunch of leagues, and it was disgusting.
Magical.
Talk about a deep ball. When I just saw Dak, it was so fun last year. I would see Dak just drop back and chuck it, and I used to think at the beginning of the year, it's going to be CD. No. It was Pickens. It was Pickens on the end of that. It was awesome.
It was the weirdest season for George Pickens, too, because it was like a quiet wide receiver 5 finish.
Oh, so good. CD got injured?
Yeah.
And it was awesome. It was awesome.
Done.
It's like 30 points a game without CD there.
Yeah.
So after Judkins, we had Zay Flowers off the board at the 5-4, which is, again, fantastic value. I think Zay Flowers is poised for a really, really strong season. 1,000 yards, I think, comes easy to him. It's just, can he tie together the touchdowns? And how many of those will Mike Andrews have games where it's 1 catch for 10 yards and 2 touchdowns somehow, even though he only caught 1 pass? So I was between Zay Flowers, Jalen Waddle, and Mike Evans on my last pick. RJ Harvey off the board at 5-5. Don't love that. Devontae Adams, Colston Loveland, DJ Moore, Travion Henderson, Bashal Tootin, DeAndre Swift, and that leaves Logan on the clock at the turn to make 2 picks.
Yeah.
Who you got?
And I was going to take DJ Moore. I was excited about him being in Buffalo with Josh Allen. I think that's a good change of scenery for him. Also, my hot take, never take anyone on the Madden cover. They always get hurt. It happened to Christian McCaffrey last year. A bunch of people took him number 1 overall. Was that last year or the year before? I don't remember. But
last year, Christian McCaffrey broke fantasy football once again.
Yeah.
yeah. But I'm just saying, he was on the Madden cover last year, and then he got hurt in the first or second game, and he was out for half the season. So never take anyone on the Madden cover. With that being said, I'm not taking Caleb Williams. I'm actually going to take the speed demon in Kansas City, and I'm going to take Xavier Worthy. I think he's really fast. I know he probably was hurt or something. He's listed as Q on my draft board, which means he's questionable. And it's June, so hopefully that injury gets taken care of. I don't know. But I know that at one point, if not still, he is considered as the fastest man in the NFL, and he broke the 40 record at the draft combine. And so I'm taking the speed demon in KC. And Patrick Mahomes liked him a lot. He liked him and Rashee Rice. And so I think Patrick Mahomes, as we've now alluded to, kind of throws the slants and wild passes. Xavier Worthy is perfect for that role and gets a lot of touches because of that. So I'm taking him at whatever that is, 5-12, 5th round, 12th pick, I guess. But I know this might be a little too early. However, I want to get a gadget guy. I want to get someone that is going to get a lot of touchdowns, can kind of play a couple different roles in the world. Eric has no idea who I'm going to pick.
I do not.
Because
I
my
don't know this list.
going.
A gadget guy. You know Deebo Samuel doesn't have a team, right?
I know that. So here's my thing. My gadget guy is different than your gadget guys. I'm just saying. I can see this guy scoring touchdowns, throwing touchdowns, running
God.
touchdowns in.
Oh my God! Don't tell me you're about to do what I think you're about to do.
What do you think I'm going to do? That's the real question. As you can see, all of my picks are so random, and they're not supposed to be where they are.
Are you gonna
apparently,
pick Taysom Hill right here?
Taysom.
I'm not gonna pick Taysom Hill. He plays on the Saints though, still, right? But no, I'm not.
Logan?
Listen, I'm bad at fantasy football, but I'm not that bad. So, with this pick, I'm gonna actually take Jaden Daniels.
Oh, that's a fine pick.
He's a gadget guy.
pick.
He can
pick.
throw touchdowns. He can run touchdowns. He can do a little bit of everything.
What?
So
There was too much lead up for that. Yeah, Jaden Daniels, a fine pick there. He's fantastic. I think he's ranked too low. I would rather have him than Drake May. And I talked a big game about Drake May. Is it sacrilegious for me to say that I would swap those two and be totally okay with it? Seriously, I think Jaden Daniels is a fine pick there. I think Xavier Worthy. Logan, let me ask you this. Do you know where Xavier Worthy, his running mate, so the wide receiver one in Kansas City, do you know where Rashee Rice was rehabbing his ACL tear for the past month?
at Grand Park. I don't know.
Prison. Notoriously not one of the places you want to be rehabbing.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Worthy, I think you probably could have gotten him in the 7th round, but I mean, I don't hate his scenario there. So
that's fair.
Great picks. Jaden Daniels, totally normal for where he's supposed to go. Xavier Worthy, a bit of a reach, but I always say go get your guy. And Logan has done that consistently in this draft.
Absolutely.
So he's sitting at Saquon Barkley, Ashton Genty, Tyler Warren, DK Metcalf, Xavier Worthy, and Jaden Daniels. He's a flex away from having his whole starting lineup filled out already.
Yep.
After that, we've got Harold Finnan, who I'm incredibly high on this year. I did hear he's not reported to training camp yet. He's not on the field at all, which is kind of concerning. But, man, if there's a Brown I want to own, it's Harold Finnan. I think in Best Ball, I've got him on like 60% of my teams, which is kind of wild. But I just think he's fantastic value if you can get him in the 70s or the 80s. Terry McLaurin at the 6'3", I think is fantastic as well. After that, Joe Burrow, Carnell Tate, who I wish would have made it back to me. I would have drafted him in a heartbeat.
Too. I'll tell you that he wasn't making it back to. He wasn't making it all to you. So
never would have made it. I mean, I don't think he should have made it to the 5th round. And I considered him at like the 5-1,
6th round.
Yeah, that's too late for a rookie wide receiver drafted in the top 5 in the NFL draft with a rookie quarterback, and they're going to be slinging the ball a lot. So I love Carnell Tate. I think it's a perfect scenario for him. We've got the Saints rookie wide receiver alongside of him at the 6'6", David Montgomery at the 6'7", Jalen Warren at the 6'8", and Christian Watson at the 6'9". Good value there as well. We've got JP on the clock at the 6'10". Who are you looking at here?
I'm going to go a little bit down the board. I got a guy that if he comes back around to me, great. I'll be happy about it. But I'm only going to take him because of I'm only going to take him when he comes back around. I'm kind of pivoting right here at the last second. I think it's time you guys start taking some shots on some of these players that can like bounce back in a good way. And I think this guy's great. I think this is a guy that if it hits, my team is going to be untouchable. And I'm going to go Brian Thomas.
You know what? You son of a gun. I
knew so. Okay, so all right, now that everything just happened, I figured you had him on your radar. My other person I was going to go with was actually Rome. I'm a Rome guy.
Are you?
But I'm just too scared. I'm too scared of so many options. So that made me like, okay, if Rome would have made it back around, I would have gone Rome. But I'm really happy that this worked because so it looks like I was going to get Brian Thomas. So we're on the same page here, it seems.
Absolutely. I think most of our takes are similarly informed here. And Brian Thomas was a guy that I was heavily considering as well. Just because, I mean, people forget how good he was as a rookie because of a bad year last year. I think there was a lot going on last year. injury concerns, and I think personally he just had a couple things hit him really hard. I think mentally he wasn't in such a good place. I don't know Brian Thomas Jr. I could not know what I'm talking about. He could be washed at the ripe age of like 23. I've got him in Dynasty, and a lot of people in our league, JP, have offered me really poor trades for Brian Thomas. And I'm like, I want a first round pick for this guy. Like he's good. He's legitimately a fantastic football player. At LSU, he was unbelievable, and in his rookie season, he was unbelievable. I'm not going to give away a guy who had 1,000 yards in his rookie season for an offer that's like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of what the offer was, but it was insulting. It was like a third-round pick and some bad player that would never see the field. So I'm high on Brian Thomas. There were two guys there that I thought you might be referring to. One of them was Marvin Harrison Jr., who is on my radar here. I do think I should probably go a onesie position.
Do you think
here.
he's going to be? Do you think he's going to have a good year though? I feel like he has not lived up to his hype coming out of Ohio State. Ooh, look at that! I knew
Ball
that.
knowledge.
You guys should.
He knows ball.
You should be proud of me. You should be proud of me. But no, I feel like I drafted him his rookie year, and he didn't do very well. Like he was very inconsistent, and then last year he just. I don't know. He kind of just shit the bed. Like he had some games where he was, 100 yards, and then he had a lot of games where he was under 75. Like it just wasn't. I don't know. He hasn't figured out, and I think having the name Harrison on the back of his jersey is really hard to live up to because his dad was a dog. So I don't know. I'm a little iffy on Marvin Harrison Jr. as well.
I think, it's hard to say and project what he's going to do this year. I'm higher on him than consensus. I think some people have him ranked really, really low. I think Michael Wilson is another guy that I want to get a lot of shares of this year. I'll come back to that.
I think he's a dog. I think Michael Wilson's a dog.
I think both are good, and I wouldn't be mad about having either on my team. I do need a running back. I'm taking Tony Pollard, which is a bit of a reach here. I like him better than Ramondre. I kind of feel like he's going to be the guy in Tennessee. I think he's been the guy in Tennessee. I just think their offense has been so putrid that you can't really have him on the field in your fantasy lineups. Balances me out too with 3 and 3. I went wide receiver heavy after my first 3 picks and feel pretty confident about that room. And so I'm left with a decision, Michael Wilson or Marvin Harrison. I do have Marvin Harrison ranked higher than Michael Wilson as of right now. It's easy to forget, though, that Michael Wilson was the wide receiver 10 last year. And just to let that sink in for a minute, that's like, you should be taking him in the second round if you think he's going to repeat with that. So I think getting him here would be good value. I think Marvin Harrison also would be good value here. I don't know if I'm going to do either of those, though. I like some of these tight ends. I'm looking at Tucker Kraft. I'm looking at Kyle Pitts. I go back and forth on these two. I think Tucker Kraft is positioned to be really the only Green Bay pass catcher that I want a piece of. I think last year I looked at the Packers room and everybody was like, okay, it's like the Bears of this year. Who are we going to pick between Rome and between Luther Burden and Loveland? I don't want any part of that. I think the Packers were in the same spot last year, and the answer was none of them because none of them were good. Kyle Pitts obviously was fantastic at the end of the season last year with a historic legacy game, 45 points in week 15 or 16, which I know got a lot of people to the championship or won championships. I forget what week it was. Between those two, man, that's tough. I think right now I will probably go with Tucker Kraft because I think the consistent volume will be there. And if we look later down the bucket list of tight ends, I don't love a lot of these guys that you can get after this tier. That's kind of like the Kyle Pitts, Tucker Kraft, and Harold Fannin tier. So I think it was important for me to snag one so I'm not left, looking at like a Jake Ferguson or a Dallas Goedert for my tight end 1. Whereas I'm more comfortable punting quarterbacks this year. Like I said, I think there's a lot of good value later on in the draft. So a lot of talking for a Tony Pollard and Tucker Kraft selection. I'm just waiting on a quarterback to round out my starting lineup, and I've got every other position covered. Cortland Sutton was next. I think fine pick, right? Jacob Pace, you were on the clock. Who you got?
What's going on here with Jalen Hurts, by the way? How is this guy still on the board? I like him. I don't really want him, but like I'm tempted to get him because he's fallen so far. I'm gonna go with him. Go ahead.
I thought about Jalen Hurts. And I know I love Devontae Smith. It's weird to say that I like Devontae Smith and I don't love Jalen Hurts. It's just he's so reliant on the tush push. And if it's not working, or if Saquon has a better year and is scoring touchdowns from 5 yards out rather than getting stuffed at the 1, is Jalen Hurts a guy that's going to throw for more than 200 yards a game? And will he have more than 1 touchdown a game? If I'm drafting him here, right, in the 7th round where I could get a Tucker Kraft, I don't know if I want to invest in that, right? I think he's the worst of this tier of guys, where if I don't get like a Jaden Daniels, Joe Burrow, Drake May type of guy, I don't know that I'm comfortable at the opportunity cost of drafting Jalen Hurts and making that pick. I just don't think the volume's going to be there. Too many question marks on the offense without A.J. Brown. It's dependent on the tush push, and if it's not there, then it's a bust, I feel like. So I was a pass on him. Do you feel differently? Are you going to pull the trigger?
I'm not going to pull the trigger. I'm going to go with a guy that maybe is. I don't think I feel like all my takes have been like, okay, I'm not surprised. Like, I think I might have my first take that maybe you just don't see coming. I don't know where you stand on it. I think it's a fun discussion. And we're at the time of the draft where it's like, okay, you got to start hitting these guys. And you got to find the ones that are like little ambiguous situations. But one thing breaks their way, or a couple games, like they just have a couple good games in a row, and it's like, oh my gosh. Like, yeah, this was kind of right there. I have a crush on this guy. He was just scorched earth last year for like a four game sample size. It's another running back that I think adds a bunch of depth to my team. He's gonna be on my bench right now. I think my flex right now would be Brian Thomas, but I love me some Rico Dowdle. And
Rico Dowdle.
I think he is very underrated. Jalen Warren's always solid. I've never been just in love with him, and I think Rico could take over that backfield. So I'm going Rico.
Wow, I think that's the first hot take that we've not all agreed on, because I think that's a backfield I don't want really any part of. Just because Jalen Warren, I feel like, is going to get all the receiving work. So you're kind of relying on Rico Dowdle to get 100 yards and a touchdown every game to score you 16 points. Which I don't know.
I think it's a team that wants to run the ball. Aaron Rodgers is not chucking it. That's just not happening.
No.
So I think it's a team that wants to run the ball. Rico is not a bad pass catcher, though, either. It's going to be more Jalen Warren, but Rico's not a bad pass catcher. He just doesn't get as much work. The money would tell you that, I think he's just taking over Najee's role. And Najee's role was fine. Najee wasn't great. Najee's problem was that he was always like supposed to be better than he was, and he was always drafted higher, and people just expected more. And I don't know. I think Rico, given the opportunity, is a very good running back. So that's my take.
I don't disagree with you. I just hated the landing spot more than anything, because I feel like it's a 50-50. And in backfields like that, I think if we're talking the 8th or 9th round or the 10th round, that's a shot you want to take. It's a lottery ticket you want to buy. But if you're looking at, what is it, your RB3, I don't hate it. I don't
think it's 50-50. Sure. I don't think it's 50-50. I think it's 70-30. And that 30
70-30 to Rico.
And I think that the 30 is the pass catching work. So
that's crazy too, because I feel like Jalen Warren is consistently drafted well before Rico Dowdle, 2 rounds before even, which is
sometimes
we'll see how that pans out.
Ball. They just don't know ball sometimes.
Must not. No, the sleeper side is notoriously wrong. See A.J. Brown, right, being ranked at like 30. So I don't hate it. And that's the thing, guys. Like, if you love a player, you go get him and you draft him before anybody else does. I think now's the time to lay your claim on that before the rankings change and you no longer have that. I think Tony Pollard's a guy like that for me, where some people might say Tyjae Spears is going to take some work. They've got Nick Singleton, too, who they might give some carries to. I believe in Tony Pollard. I believe in the talent. I think Rico's a fine pick there. If you believe in it, go get your guy. Do you feel, this can be a one-word answer, and then we'll pass it over to Logan. Caleb Johnson, will he ever see the light of day, or is he forever immortalized in
Wait, he's still in the league?
He's on my dynasty team.
I thought he was already out of the league.
He's only been in the league. He's in jail right now for metaphorically. He was on the field for like 1 snap last season, and it was a punt return fumble. I know, because I've got him in Dynasty and picked him in the first round.
I actually thought you meant he was in jail.
No. He's in.
I missed this.
He was in Mike Tomlin jail, I think.
Okay. That's funny.
So I don't think he'll see the field. I think Rico Dowdle has nothing to fear from. And Logan, make your pick. We've got 10 seconds left.
Yeah. No, you're good.
Yeah.
So this is the point where I'm obviously going to pick my flex. I'm going to get Sam Laporta. I will be honest with you. This is the point of every NFL draft or fantasy football draft that I'm in, where I throw auto pick on because I've got my starting lineup. That's what I wanted. I got all the players that I wanted, and I will literally throw on auto draft and then go play Madden for a couple of hours, right? Obviously, being on the podcast, I want to stay on here and make sure that I'm putting in some effort. But now I'm gonna rage bait everyone, and I'm gonna go to the all section, and I'm just gonna put whoever's first there. I'm just saying. So whatever that. But it also says Jacoby Myers, and I'm not very big on Jacoby Myers. I thought he was really good when he was in Vegas, actually, when he was in Vegas and when he was in Green Bay, and then I don't remember if he played in Green Bay. Anyways, I know that was Devontae Adams. I know he was in Green Bay and in Vegas. But this is the point where I throw an auto draft. So this is where my knowledge, as little as it already is, goes way down the shitter, and I have no clue who I'm picking. So as I'm just kind of looking through this, I'm going to try to take on all of the information that you all are feeding. Also, if you are listening to this, I just want to put a plug in here. Eric and Jacob are two of the most knowledgeable fantasy football people that I know. When I'm in my leagues, which is like two, I will literally text them and like, hey, I can make this trade. Is it good enough? And they'll both tell me like, oh, nope, don't do that. It's a sham. They're going to rip you off, whatever it is. Sometimes they say it's good, right? And so please tune into this as often as Eric is doing these, because the knowledge that is between Eric and Jacob alone is second to none. I would even put them on ESPN if they called them for any of their knowledge. So
Just
Thank you, Logan.
too kind.
they're
love
great.
you too. We love
I
you
appreciate
too.
it. Even though I'm
Listen to
wearing
Logan's podcast. This is your opportunity to plug your own podcast too.
yeah,
Here, by the way.
and I appreciate that. I run a podcast called the Rooted Dad Podcast. It's for dads of all ages and colors and kinds, and we just talk about dad stuff. We have interviews that come on about once a month, and so when these two gentlemen have kids, they will be guest speakers on the podcast, and I'm really excited to have them on. So, with that being said, I think honestly, I know we've kind of talked about this, but I'm gonna take a little bit of a curveball, and I'm going to take Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce had a really good season last year with the deep ball. I think that's where he obviously thrives. He is great when he has a very good deep throw, accurate passer behind that offensive line on the Colts. And Daniel Jones was that until he got hurt. Not sure if Anthony Richardson is going to poke out his other eye with a workout band or not, but I think Alec Pierce has an amazing opportunity ahead of him to do something very big. Now, as I said earlier, he's a guy that just re-signed a very big contract. Last year, he was on a contract year. He did amazing. What does he do this year? You don't have Michael Pittman anymore, right? I think that means that Alec Pierce is the number one receiver on that Colts offense. You've got Josh Downs. You've got Tyler Warren. But you don't really have a lot of other pieces on that offensive roster. So I think Alec Pierce is a good pick here. I think you get him for a good value if he's still here. I would not take him before this, but I think he's a good overall pick if he can have a good season in Indy.
I like it. I think you're right on the money. Somebody's got to catch passes there, and if Daniel Jones is healthy, he'll be slinging it. To recap the seventh round, we had Tucker Kraft to me off the board. We had Cortland Sutton, Rico Dowdle, Kyle Pitts, who's a dog, Jalen Hurts, also a dog. I think he's a great real-life player. Ramondre Stevenson at 7'6", Kyle Monangai, Micaiah Lemon, Michael Wilson at 7'9", great value there. Jackson Dart, I start to lose interest in Jackson Dart when he's being drafted in the 7th round. I don't see the vision there. Justin Herbert at the 7'11", Laporta coming in at the 7'12", as Logan goes double tight end. Alec Pierce, a fine pick there at 8-1. 8-1. 8-2 goes to Blake Corum, who I'm completely out on at cost because he's a backup running back, right? We've got Chuba Hubbard at the 8-3. Much rather would have him than Blake Corum. Chris Godwin, Dalton Kincaid, Jacoby Myers at the 8-6, which is a great pick. Marvin Harrison, an even better pick at the 8-7. Arondé Gadsden at the 8-8. We've got J.K. Dobbins at the 8-9. I don't want any part of that Denver Broncos backfield. There's too many moving parts. Which leaves us, Finn's 88. You were up at the 8-10, looking to round out your roster.
All right, so there's a lot of quarterbacks that I love here, but so I don't have to get one right now, which is nice. I'm considering and just going to the sad well that I go to every time with a running back, but I want to take a shot on another guy that I think is going to potentially go crazy this year. I think it's going to be a guy that we talk about like at the end of the year, like, yeah, we should have saw that coming. And I also think I can be the prophet on this one because the offensive coordinator was my head coach. I think Quentin Johnson is going to go absolutely nuclear with Mike
you
McDaniel.
son of a gun. You son of a gun. I was scrolling to find him. I was going to click the plus button as soon as it came around.
Yeah, I think, and so...
Son of a gun.
And I have to get one more thing out there. Caleb Williams is my quarterback that I'm targeting.
Really?
He's my quarterback.
I wouldn't do it.
That guy,
I wouldn't do it.
So
that's my do not draft quarterback at cost.
I would not do it.
Guys, this is easy. This is actually easy. What is the problem with Colston Loveland, with Luther Burton, and with Roma Dunze?
There's too much to go around. Who's going to be throwing the ball? I know where you're going with this.
Where's it going? Who's getting on the points? This is easy. This is so simple. I think Ben Johnson is a very good coach. I think he's a great coordinator. Guys, I think it's going to happen. I think it's.
But he's on the Madden cover. He's going to get hurt.
Stop.
Whether it's
Stop.
no,
okay. No.
I will prove this to you. This is the one thing that I do know because I do know Madden.
It's like 40% of the time something bad happens.
Nope. That's every time. We're gonna Google it. Our old reliable Madden curve.
The Quentin Johnson pick, I think, is really, really good. I think Caleb Williams for me, I think you're right. Most of the time when you're in that scenario of like, okay, there's 4 weapons, we need to pick one. Yeah. And who's it going to be? You want the quarterback there. I think that's a good problem to have for a quarterback more than anybody. I just don't see it. I don't see a world where he's going to be throwing enough and scoring enough fantasy football points to. But when you say it, like I don't hate it as much as I think I would. I just would rather have a guy like Justin Herbert or a guy like Trevor Lawrence who went absolutely nuclear in the fantasy football playoffs last year.
Caleb Williams had a great year. What quarterback was Caleb Williams last year?
That's a great. I don't know that off the top of my head. Maybe I'm underselling how well he did. I felt like all of his points.
Eric, he was quarterback 5 last year.
Okay, but how many of his points came in the last 6 minutes of games when like they shouldn't have been playing football anymore?
When does it? Did you get it
Garbage
in your lineup?
Time.
You get it in your lineup. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when it comes in the first quarter, comes in the last quarter. Guys, I am going to gobble up Caleb Williams all year round this year because people are just going to this is going to be it's a my guy. It's a my guy.
That's your guy. Staking your claim early.
I am playing my flag on Caleb Williams.
I think he's a garbage time merchant. Sometimes I get accused of that in my rec basketball league, men's league, on Thursday nights. For some reason, when we're down by 40 or even up by 40, which is much more rare, that's when I like to start shooting 90% from 3. I'm picking Jadarian Price. I think he's mispriced here on Sleeper. He's at 124. I think he's going to be the starting running back for the Seattle Seahawks, which is a pretty good position to be in. He's very talented. I think he's better than Zach Charbonnet. I think even if they go 60-40 or 70-30, which is my projection, we got to keep in mind Charbonnet's coming off like a torn ACL, right? I don't know if he's going to be healthy for week 1. I would doubt that he will be, given that he suffered that relatively late into the season. I like the first-round draft capital on a rookie. I think the team is telling you there what it plans to do, and I think the fact that you can get a lottery ticket on a guy in the 8th round, at the end of the 8th round on Sleeper, where I've got him in the 50s in my rankings, I'll take that bet any day. I think a lot of the times, like, you're looking at the people that you're here, and I think Quentin Johnston is the same way. It's like, would you rather have Quentin Johnston or Ricky Pearsall, right? Or would you have Brian Robinson? I'm never going to take Brian Robinson over Jadarian Price. Like there's no chance of that. And so looking at who I want to make my second pick in this round, there's a couple guys that I'm looking at. I think I'll just punt quarterback even further. I mean, unless I went Trevor Lawrence, Dak Prescott, Patrick Mahomes, I probably want one of those three guys. I don't know. Trevor Lawrence is starting to call my name. I'm going to play the waiting game here. I'm going to go Trevor Lawrence. I think it's a good bet that he'll be higher in terms of his finish than Patrick Mahomes and then Dak Prescott. I think you're fine with any of those guys. I just didn't want that next tier to go, and I'd be stuck with like a Kyler Murray or something. And we let it happen. I forgot that we had said not to let that happen.
It's so awesome when a plan works out. It's so great when you just thank you very much for doing that.
You're welcome.
I love it. This
You're
team,
welcome, dude.
This team is shaping up to be a problem.
If we could recap this team so far, so he's got Jamar Chase, he's got George Pickens, he's got Brock Bowers. His RBs 1 and 2, which you would think might be a little bit weaker in the 4th and 5th round. Cam Scatterbo and Quinshon Judkins, both of whom could be RB1s.
They're gonna get touches
this year.
They're gonna get touches.
Like, those are guys that are touching the ball 20 times a game, which is kind of remarkable. I think Brian Thomas Jr. could be a top 10 wide receiver. Like, the path is there. I think, and this is something that I'll cover when I go into my tips and tricks episode. You want guys, especially in these later rounds. I never want to draft Aaron Jones, right, or Brian Robinson or Kenny Gainwell in this round. I want a lottery ticket that could be a Parker Washington or that could be a Quentin Johnston or Jadarian Price. Somebody who could legitimately, there's a path there where they could finish in the top 10 in their position. I mean, unless Bijan gets hurt, like, when are you ever going to start Brian Robinson? And I think that's important to keep in mind. You want to win. You don't want to just not lose. I think Aaron Jones is another pick like that. I don't hate it. But what's the upside for him there? I think there's 2 other guys in that backfield that are going to be taking 60% of the work, and you're just hoping he breaks one off at the age of 34 or however old he is. Logan, I know this might be auto draft territory for you. To recap the 9th round, we went Trevor Lawrence, Parker Washington, Dak Prescott. We gave Jacob Pace his super stack of Dak and George Pickens, which is a little bit scary. We've got Aaron Jones, Ricky Pearsall, Brian Robinson, Kenny Gainwell, Patrick Mahomes, Brock Purdy, Hunter Henry, and Jake Ferguson. We're on Team Logadicious here. Chalupa Batman is the official team name, and Logadicious is the owner. Who you got at the 9-12 and the 10-1?
Yeah, man. I honestly don't know. I'm sitting here just as you guys are talking, kind of figuring this out. And part of me wants to take Mark Andrews. I feel like it's a 50-50 every year with Lamar. He did drop that ball in the AFC Championship to take him to the Super Bowl, so no one really wants him anymore. He's kind of that redheaded stepchild in Baltimore at this point. I could take another quarterback. There's a couple of different ones that are still on the field or on the board, but I think what I'm going to do here is, I'm just going to throw out who I think has the coolest. Actually, you know who I am going to take? I'm going to take Michael Pittman. I think he has a chance to revamp himself in Pittsburgh with old Aaron Rodgers over there. Michael Pittman is a dog. Like, I don't think he was a true number 1 in Indy, but he was the number 1 in Indy because he had to be, right? I think he's a great number 2. I think he has a lot of potential to do something really good over there in Pittsburgh, and I think he has a chance to really make a name for himself there in the old Steel Curtain State. Kind of after that, man, I honestly don't know. I feel like there's so many great players to pick from that are on the back half of this board. One thing I will say, the app that we're using, whatever it's called, what's this app called, Eric? Sleeper. So one thing that I will note on this is when you go to select, there's a thing that says rookies and veterans. Which, for me, because I don't watch that much football anymore, I just watch the Colts because that's what I'm allowed to do. It's Sunday. I've done everything with the kids all week. I'm cooking. I'm doing all the things. The one thing that Dad wants on Sundays is Colts football, chili, smash burger on the Blackstone, wings, whatever it is. I know, but it's a rotational menu, okay? And you've had my food, Eric. You know it's good.
Very good. Very good.
So it's a rotational menu. So all I want is 3 hours on the TV watching Colts football. Hopefully they're winning. Hopefully they break the curse and they get a season win, an opening season win this year. So, at this point, man, I think I'm just going to take. I honestly don't know who to take, guys. I'm going to take Shadik. I don't even know who that is. He plays on New York. He's wearing a suit in his picture here. I have no clue who that guy is, but he has a cool name, so we're going with Sadiq.
We've got a third tight end off the board of Logan, which is a certainly unique strategy. We got Laporta, we got Tyler Warren, and we got Kenyon Sadiq, the rookie.
Can never have too many tight ends.
You can never have too many guys on the Jets that catch passes. That's a
that's
recipe
true.
for success. But no, I mean, I think the Pittman pick is fantastic there. I think he could be the guy in Pittsburgh, depending on DK, who I love, right? Don't get me wrong. A run on tight ends at that point, to where pick your poison. You've got Jordan Addison off the board, Tyler Algier, and then Mark Andrews, Dalton Schultz, Dallas Goedert, Brenton Strange, and George Kittle at the 10-9, which of those guys, I'd rather have George Kittle than all four of them. And really, over the last 8 tight ends that have been picked, I can't fathom why George Kittle is even behind Oronde Gadsden on this list. Because it's George Kittle, right? There's no way that you're telling me that Hunter Henry or Jake Ferguson is going to outscore George Kittle in the season, assuming he's back and healthy. We can wrap this one up pretty quick. I know we're in the dire straits. This is where you tell us your guys in the late round that you're taking in almost every draft. We've got Jacob Pace on the clock at the 10-10. Who do you like?
Yep. So I've been this whole time, I've been deep into it because I'm not going to lie. I feel like I've had a plan and I've had fun doing this the whole time.
Yeah.
It dried up drastically.
Yeah.
What I've learned is I got to do some more studying on this, this area right here, because now, I mean, you're just taking some dirty shots. So I'm going to go pretty quick here. I'm between three guys in this turn. I'm going to go with one that's another one been close to my heart. He did really well last year. He did very well last year. A season that I guarantee no one, I guarantee even Eric, ball knower, could not tell me what he finished, even ballpark close what he finished on the season last year. And he has his coordinator now with them again, as his, offensive coordinator again, or he has his head coach followed him. I think he's going to be good. It's going to be a little bit of belief in the offense and the quarterback improvement with Cam Ward, but I'm going to go Wan'Dale Robinson. The guy catches balls. I mean, he catches a ton of passes every game.
He sure does.
So. What a great name.
Taken Wan'Dale had you not taken Wan'Dale, so I don't think you're alone in that. I think he's underrated on this platform. I'll have to check my rankings of where I've got him, but I believe he's in my top 100, and we're well past pick 100 here. I think he could be the guy in Tennessee, and I know Carnell Tate is there, but reports out of camp are saying he's throwing a lot of balls to Wan'Dale Robinson. I think he was, I'm going to guess. Do you know what wide receiver he was last year?
Yep.
All right, I'll guess. I would say he was wide receiver 17.
I was close, 5 away.
Between the half point and full point, he was 13 and 14.
13 and 14. So Logan wins that, actually. He was very close.
Yes. Is that not crazy?
That's crazy.
That's crazy. Insane. That's insane.
What's crazy? What is crazier? The fact that Wan'Dale was wide receiver number 13, or that I was close to knowing that he was number 12?
Now you bring up a good question. This is a good question.
The world may never know on that one. I think that's like the Michael Wilson thing. You look up at the end of the season, he's wide receiver 9 or 10. It's like, this is a guy you could get for free at the end of the draft. And I think this is where best ball really helps me. I'll toot my own horn here a little bit. I'm the guy specifically out of all my friends who even play fantasy football. If you want to know who to draft in the 25th round of your draft, if your draft goes to the 25th round, that's where I shine, right? These are the guys that I pick that typically pan out, and these are the lottery tickets that you're looking for. So if we had 4 more rounds here, you guys would be in trouble. As it stands, we've only got 3 picks left to make. I'm going deep down the list here, and I'm taking Casey Concepcion. He's ranked 141st. He should not be ranked that low because he's potentially the alpha in Cleveland, which there's not a whole lot of value in that, but it's something. I think I'll double down on another wide receiver here.
Don't pick both of my guys. I have 2 guys in the queue, and you've already got one of them. Let's see if you get the other one.
Is it Josh Downs?
That's exactly who it is.
I selected Josh Downs.
Dude, Josh Downs is an exciting player to see this year.
I got one of them. And that is, I mean, I personally, I don't hate it if you tell me you think he's going to be better than Alec Pierce this year. I think Pierce has some injury stuff that's not cleared up, especially at this time in the year. Not a great sign. I just think Josh Downs is good. And I think he's ranked 148, so you can get him for free. Enough on Josh Downs, but I think he's poised for a good year. I think KC, if he's the one in Cleveland, it's 15 points a game, right? And that's a path to fantasy relevance. So of the your queue, which I just cleared now, who else are we looking at?
Yeah.
Don't take my guy, Jacob. I have a person.
No. You that's crazy. I literally there was 3 guys going in the turn. I got one of them. You got there 2. So there you go.
Don't take my guy.
So we can start just right at the point. I'm gonna start telling people. I'm considering Bill here.
Bill.
He's a starting running back. He's a starting running back at this point. I think whoever's his teammate is. I'm blanking on whoever it is. Rashad White.
I'm not going to say it because I'm going to draft him in the next round.
Yeah,
I'll chime in on this
He's
debate.
going to be good.
I think Rashad White is the guy to draft here. I don't know. I think he's going to get all of the pass catching in Washington, which is kind of what you want. I think. I think he's better. I watched a lot of Bill, and I know that it was the hype train last year.
It wasn't great.
He didn't look good, right?
No.
I don't think Chris Rodriguez is good, and Chris Rodriguez looked a lot better than he did. I don't hate either pick. Again, it's that lottery ticket of one guy could take over the backfield. I don't mean to talk you out of your pick here.
But you kind of are, because I don't disagree. Yeah. I don't disagree. How much time do I have?
You got a minute. You got a minute to decide between 2 guys. I would have taken Rashad White, I think, if it got back around, which he's ranked 152nd on here. I think it's a little bit low.
I'm scrolling down the list. Is there a dart throw that I'm just no one is talking about this guy? What about the other name that maybe I'll get him on the right back.
Is it Jonathan Brooks? Can I interest you in some Jonathan Brooks?
Yes. No, that's a good one. That's a great one.
As I scroll.
Daniel Jones.
Where's he at? You can't interest me in Brooks. I'm picking Jonathan Brooks.
I think that's a great pick. It's an interesting topic to.
I didn't get him. I grabbed the wrong guy. Who did I get?
Oh, you picked another Jay Brooks, a wide receiver for. I have no idea who that is.
Oh, dang it!
I'm gonna get my guy.
Did Brooks already get picked?
Ja'Cory Brooks on.
No, did Jonathan Brooks already get picked?
He did not. No,
I'm confused what happened.
You got the wrong Jay Brooks.
Ja'Cory Brooks.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
And Team 2 selected the wrong Bijan Robinson. They've got Brian Robinson instead. No, that is
so
funny. We will, again, it's a mock draft, spirit of the mock. We'll just say that you've got Jonathan Brooks, I mean, again, we're talking about, what's the path to volume? And is Chuba Hubbard, that good? I don't think so. They drafted Jonathan Brooks in the first round, I think, right? And he just had some bad injury luck.
Yeah.
He's healthy.
Where is he? Where is he? Is he on this platform?
I thought he was, right? Brooks? I'm going to type this in. Yeah, 176. He's locked out for you because I had my sights set on him. So we had Ja'Cory Brooks, who I'd never heard of, which is tough because I usually hear people. Followed by Woody Marks, Travis Kelce, Isaiah Likely. Bill did go. He did not make it back around.
Dang it.
Matthew Stafford, Khalil Shakir, Jaden Higgins, Bo Nix. I love all 4 of these picks in a row. Matthew Stafford, fantastic value as the 15th quarterback off the board. I mean, that's a QB1 right there. In pretty much every scenario. Same with Bo Nix, who before he got hurt was QB6. Khalil Shakir, Jaden Higgins. I think Jaden Higgins can be really good this year. Khalil Shakir is steady. He'll get you 11 points a game, whether you like it or not. Logan, last picks of the draft. Make them count.
Yeah, so I was looking through this, and I only have 2 running backs, which means that if this was a real draft, I would have no one on the bench. And so if my 2 running backs get hurt, I'm screwed. So I need to take 2 running backs here. Now, the problem is, what running backs do I take? All the starters are gone. I don't really know who the number 2s are. And so this is where I would encourage you all to read your descriptions on the player cards, even though they probably don't really do anything. But for me, they help somewhat. So with my last 2 picks, I'm taking James Mason in Minnesota. I think Aaron Jones has. I think Aaron Jones has kind of hit his not ceiling, but I think he's ran the last tread on his tires that he's had. Really great in Green Bay. His first year in Minnesota, maybe the second year, were okay. They weren't stellar like they were in Green Bay. So I think James Mason, if that is their number 2, I think he has a legitimate whatever you want to call it, he has a chance to make the starter for Minnesota. And I think he's also very versatile in the backfield. So he can do a lot for you at the flex position, at the running back position. So I think that can be a really dangerous pick. The other part, listen, whenever I play Madden and I do superstar mode, I always play the running back because I feel like the quarterback, I can't see the field very well. I always throw interceptions. As a running back, though, you can truck people. You can go out for passes. You can do a little bit of everything. It's very exciting. Therefore, when I think of this person, I'm going to pick him because their starter is a bruiser. And when you get a bruiser in that running back room, if he's not healthy, it can cause a lot of injuries. And if he's not taking care of his body, it's a no bueno for him. And that second person is man up, and they can become the starter for the rest of the year. Therefore, I'm going to take Tyrone Tracy, or whatever his name is, in New York.
Tyrone Tracy. And you talk about I agree with you. If one running back in the league was going to get injured based on their style of running, it would be Cam Scatterby.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Don't talk about my guy like that. You guys keep
concussion protocol. I don't know. I just feel like Scatterby's got concussion protocol written all over him. The guy is amazing. Don't get me wrong. I think he makes a lot of headlines in the news for off-season activities, and he's a bruiser in the league, right? But I think with a combination of all that, I think he also has a high chance to lose his starting spot because of his off-the-field activity and the way that he runs in games. So I like my last 2 picks here.
I do too, for what it's worth. We got Jordan James Mason coming in, trucking some people, and we've got Tyrone Tracy, who does have that clear path to starting should something happen to JP's guy, Cam Scatterby. I'm laughing because on the way back, of course, we had Charbonnet, we had Jared Goff. Jared Goff, also a great pick here.
Jared Goff was my next pick.
It's like, guys, this is why we mock draft, right? To where in this last round, you can get a guy like Jared Goff or Jordan Love. And, I spent like the 9th round pick on Trevor Lawrence. I don't love Trevor Lawrence that much more than Jared Goff. And Jared Goff is free at the end of the draft. So punt on quarterback, that's also including the CPUs in here tend to take multiple quarterbacks. So Jared Goff is like the 17th quarterback off the board, which I think is just crazy. On the way back, we had Stephon Diggs, who does not have a team, Jaden Reed, Jordan Love, Emmett Johnson for Kansas City, Trey Benson, who's like 4th on the depth chart, which is wild that he could even be drafted. And, of course, I was laughing because Malik Willis is off the board. Also a viable fantasy quarterback.
You love it.
You
can see the path.
I see it. He throws for 100 yards a game, but he rushes for 60. If he scores a touchdown in each of them, that's like 24 points.
Exactly.
I get it, man. I get it. As a Miami fan, too, you'd want to be cheering for that. Go get your guy. And I'm on the clock, last pick of the draft. I think Rachaad White made his way back to me. I'd kind of be a hypocrite if I didn't draft him because I might have drafted him.
Yeah, you kind of have to now.
I think I will. I'm not going to be the guy that takes the other Jay Brooks on here because I brought him up, and then in my mind he's already been drafted. Some other guys I'm looking at here at the end of the draft, I think you think like about Las Vegas, they got to throw the ball to somebody. I'm drafting Jalen Naylor wherever I can because you want some piece of that, and then there's a chance he's like wide receiver 10, right? Because they got to throw the ball to somebody. I've got a good quarterback now in Fernando Mendoza / Kirk Cousins. I think there's a couple other guys like in best ball that I'd be considering here to add another wide receiver to the core, but I think Rachaad White's the pick. And that is it. So I would like to walk us through our teams. We've got about 2 minutes left here, and then we'll be good to go. That actually took a lot longer than I thought it would. It was a heck of a lot more fun, too, than I expected to be doing a mock draft in June. And I think it taught us a little bit about fantasy football, too. So to introduce my team, I've got Jahmyr Gibbs, Derrick Henry, Tony Pollard, and Jadarian Price and Rashad White. In the running back room, I expect to obviously play Jahmyr Gibbs, Derrick Henry. My wide receiver one, who I've got really in like the top 5 or 6 wide receivers this year, A.J. Brown. I've got Emeka Buka, who's a fantastic wide receiver too. Mike Evans, old reliable. Nothing better than just putting him in at flex and having him get 15 points a game. That'd be awesome, right? And he's 31 or 32. Hopefully he doesn't hit the age cliff. I've got Tony Pollard, Tucker Kraft, Trevor Lawrence at the quarterback position. I've got a couple cheap upside shots in Casey Concepcion and Josh Downs. And that rounds out my squad. So pretty balanced. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I think, again, like my moral of the story is you can wait on quarterback and grab a guy in that range that, like, if I took Parker Washington and then Jordan Love, I think I'd like it better. But what can you do? That's why we play. So happy with my team. I think I'd be a contender here because I think I've got some guys that could legitimately be top 10 at their position, even on my bench. So Jacob Pace, would you like to introduce your team?
I will. So Eric, I agree, will be a contender. He will be getting second place in the league here just because he's going to have to go against this team. Jamar Chase, George Pickens, I mean, holy cow, strap in. Then you got Brock Bowers, Cam Scatterboo, Judkins, Brian Thomas, Rico Dowdle. I got Johnson at wide receiver on the bench. Dak is my quarterback, Wandale, and not Ja'Cory Brooks, but the other Brooks that's supposed to be on my team, and Malik Willis as a flyer at the end of the draft here.
I love it. I think that is a championship caliber team. I think having the onesie and Brock Bowers paired with not much of a fall off, because usually you make that trade off and then your RB2 is like DeAndre Swift or like Jalen Warren. I think having Judkins there was huge for you because I think there's a pretty clear tier break after that. Logan, care to introduce your team as well?
Yeah, I got the Philly Assassin and Saquon Barkley. I'm actually really excited. I've always wanted him in a fantasy football league, and of course I get him in a mock draft, so it probably won't happen for me. But I do love having Saquon. Gene T or whatever his name is got him from Vegas. I'm actually really excited about Tyler Warren. I think he's going to do an outstanding job again in his sophomore year in the NFL. DK, Xavier Worthy, the speed demon. I love my gadget guy, as I called him, Jaden Daniels. I think he's going to put up a lot of points because he can do a couple different things on the field, throw, pass. Hell, he might even catch a touchdown. You never know. Like having my 3 tight ends, or one of the 3 is Sam Laporta. He's always done really well each year, so I like Sam Laporta, and they're going to need some really good offensive weapons there, so I think he's going to get a lot of activity. Love Alec Pierce. I think that's a great pick for where he was at. He's going to have a great long game, especially Daniel Jones coming back. Michael Pittman, big guy in Pittsburgh. I think he complements DK Metcalf really well. Sadiq, I have no clue who this guy is, but he's one of my 3 tight ends. If Mark Sanchez was back in New York, I think he'd be catching balls all day and probably be the number 1 tight end in the league. But he's not, so that's okay. James Mason and whatever Tracy's name is, when Scatterboo gets hurt and Jacob Pace loses the league because of that, and then I win the team. For a guy who doesn't know fantasy football very well, I feel like I picked a very solid team to go off of, and I think it's a championship-worthy team. I could make a couple trades for a couple different positions, but I think overall, I think I have a really stellar team here for my fantasy football knowledge that I have.
I'll tell you, I like it too. I think you've got a really, really solid running back room from top to bottom. I think if your guys hit, and DK Metcalf and Xavier Worthy, even Alec Pierce, right, might find his way into the starting lineup. Michael Pittman, all these guys have legitimate shots to be the one and the guy in their team. I've always been a DK Metcalf fan, despite some of the character things that he has shown us over the years. I love him. I love him to death. He's one of my first franchise players in a couple of my leagues. So I like it, Logan. I think you've got a good squad here. I think it's really important to do these mock drafts and to do them early because you learn a lot through these, and you learn who Kenyon Sadiq is, and you come up with names for Jordan Mason like James Mason, and then you stick with that forever, and that's your guy, right? And so that's why we do this. And on top of all that, it was extremely fun I never want to mock draft alone after this. I think we'll do a couple more of these. We'll get these guys back on, but I hope that you guys had as much fun as I did. Again, the Fantasy Football Podcast. We'll sign off here. I know we've gone a little bit over time already, but I think we just got into it, had some good discussions, and we'll get a bit more nuanced as the season progresses through the off season. And thanks to Logan and Jacob Pace for coming out today and talking fantasy football with us. Let us know in the comments whose team you think is the best, and we'll give a trophy, free lunch to whoever wins. Thank you guys for joining us, and we'll talk to you next time.
Sounds good.